and welcome back to the Retro Review. I am the Bearded Geek. Joining me as always is Mikey the Freak.
What's up?
And Bebo. Today we are going to be discussing the Christmas favorite, Die Hard. This is a movie. It's about an NYPD officer who tries to save his wife and several others taken hostage by a German terrorist during Christmas party at the Nakatomi Plaza in Los Angeles. This is Die Hard, 1988, starring Bruce Willis. Dude. Oops, sorry, hit the light over here. Yeah, I love this movie. You don't expect it. This is one of the first action movies that didn't have like this big muscular, big guy, Bruce Willis. I don't even think they wanted Bruce Willis to be in this movie, but he turned out to be one of the best action movie stars ever. His delivery of the lines is just real and natural. I love this movie. This movie has plenty of action. The cinematography on it's great. The explosions. It has its funny moments. You know, when you get off the plane, first thing you do is go to a place and make little fists with your toes in the carpet.
Yes. Guy's been doing it for years.
Yes. I mean, that's one of the funny parts. And it's a typical 80s movie. I mean, it's so 80s when he's in the airport waiting for his luggage. He's smoking a freaking cigarette.
Yeah, that wouldn't happen no more.
Yeah, do that now.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
I mean, he in the office party at Nakatomi Plaza, you got office mates, you know, having sex in the office.
That probably still happens now.
Oh, it probably does. Doing cocaine.
Oh, and the cocaine use. The cocaine use probably do.
Probably, but you know, it's an 80s movie, so you have to show it.
You gotta show cocaine.
We're in Florida, so this would be meth instead of coke, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what? This movie could be made in Florida. You know, a freaking Florida man blows up office building.
Trying to open
office
email.
Tower in Tampa.
Yeah. It really could. But this was a good movie. I thought this movie flowed really well. It didn't feel like this movie lasted as long as it did.
Yeah, I was surprised about that. I never thought it was that long of a movie till I went and watched it. I was like, damn, it's that long?
Yeah.
It's never felt like, what is it? Like it's a hair over 2 hours and it never feels like that.
2 hours and 7 minutes.
Yeah. But it flows by so well because you get into the movie. You get invested in John McClane in this movie. It's a good movie. Mikey the Freak, what do you think of the movie? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, the portrayal by Alan Rickman's character Hans Gruber of being a international terrorist, I think he played it very well with his British accent, and then try to do that German accent when you know it's really a British accent. I really didn't hear much German out of him.
No.
Even when he actually spoke German, even then it sounded weird.
Yeah.
I saw nothing but a British accent when he's trying to be German. But the villains that portrayed them, they were more of they are side characters, I guess you can say, but but very action packed. The blonde character played by Alexander Godunov, I think is his last name. He kind of took it personal and almost had that wanted a change. Like he wanted McClane dead, but yet Hans Gruber wanted him alive to question him. And it was almost like a coup d'etat. Like he wanted to take over because he didn't think Hans was doing what he wanted to do, and he wanted to do what he wanted to do, what Alexander wanted to do. So
he killed his brother.
Yeah, McClane killed his brother. So I mean, I get it.
Yeah, and I understand that. And it was more of like it was retaliation and vengeance, and
I mean, I'd be more that way if it was a cousin as opposed to my brother, but you know, whatever.
I love the humor in it when McClane sends his dead brother down in the elevator. Says, "Now I have a
Now I
machine
have
gun.
a machine gun.
Ho
Ho,
ho ho."
Yeah, and what's cool, and this is a very quotable movie also. I mean, there's only probably a few lines that everyone knows, of course, is "Yippee ki motherfucker."
Welcome to the party,
that's one of the
pal.
biggest.
Yeah.
To me, that's probably the biggest line of the entire movie, and it was because Hans Gruber called McClane a cowboy because he was more of that vengeance type, and it was like, okay, well, yippee ki motherfucker. So it was a fitting response to him being a cowboy, but yet it made the movie on how McClane really was taking vengeance and he was going to kill everybody. He was going to get out of this shit alive. And he did everything he could to get out of that tower, or try to get out of the tower. And he was barefoot after he had to wash up and stuff. And when they took over the tower, he had to take off running. Technically, he didn't have time to put his shoes back on. So that was kind of a turning point as well when they broke all the glass and he had to walk across the glass barefoot in blood. And so more of a survival story from him. He needed to do everything in his power to protect the hostages, stay alive, and find his wife, make sure she was alive. So all around the story from start to finish was very impactful. Edge of your seat action. A lot of the machine gun and gunfights were good. Even the fight sequences between him and Alexander, the blonde German, I guess you could say.
I love
the blonde German.
Yeah,
why can't you just say Carl like a normal person?
Carl's his stage name.
I love the fight at the end of the movie when McClane and Carl are fighting. He's like, you should have heard your brother squeal when I broke his fucking neck. He's beating the shit out of him. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and what I thought was I thought it was kind of far fetched is, everybody's seen this movie, so it's not a spoiler. As when they hang Carl over by the ladder, by the stairs with the chain, and they shoot him across the room, and then all of a sudden outside of that, he is the one that ends up getting up with the machine gun.
Well, I kind of get it because it wasn't a full neck. He did get his hand in there to where it's plausible.
Oh, okay, I missed that part. Yeah.
It's plausible for him to have just enough to get enough wind to survive and get out of it. Plausible. Yeah.
And to me, it seemed like he was already in a body bag.
I don't
know if I missed that. I thought he was in a body bag already. So if he was already in a body bag, well, I don't know. Maybe I didn't see him reach for a gun or how he got a gun, but maybe I'll watch it over and watch that scene and figure out like what the hell. I thought that was kind of weird, but
I'm more worried about the whole top of the building exploding, and that's where he's supposedly being hung at, and how he got out of that more than him actually just getting out of the choke.
Well, I think he was on a lower floor. I don't think he was on the very, very top of the roof.
Not the very top, but it was like a level below, and there's enough C4.
You're blowing a couple floors down. Yeah. You're not just getting the top. Yes, I definitely agree with that. But I all around the movie, like I said, I'm not going to give my rating right now. I will save that for later. But great action sequences, and the characters I thought did very well based on the plot and so forth. So Bebo, what about yourself? Tell us a little bit about the movie as well.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't think you did.
I actually misunderstood the assignment, and I watched Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox movie.
Did you say Rock Hard?
No, I said Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox movie.
Okay.
And
I thought it was a porn or something you watched.
So as y'all are sitting here describing all this action, I'm like, the fucking guitar player blew up a building. I just don't get it. No, I love this movie. It is.
I didn't think he was capable of that.
This is definitely a Christmas movie. Anybody who does not think that Die Hard is, Christmas movie just needs to go ahead and leave the room now.
Oh yeah.
I agree with both of you guys. The movie's great. It was very fluid the way they did the movie. What I did like is when you had the like lull scenes where everything kind of slowed down, which is usually when McClane was talking to Powell outside on the radio.
Oh yeah.
It didn't seem overdone. It didn't seem like they were trying to overdo a heartwarming type thing. You could tell it was like everybody it was a needed pause in the movie, and they did it really well. And then we blew some more shit up.
Yeah. I think they took it by doing that, it kind of had them understand, because they were basically becoming friends or contact points without seeing each other. So they wanted to know a little bit about their backstory. And you kind of find that out when Reginald Vell Johnson's character, Al.
It's Al.
Al ends up telling him about pulling the gun on the kid, and then he'd never pull a gun on anybody before.
Right.
And then he kills Carl.
And then he kills Carl to save John McClane's life at the end, and everybody's life pretty much. Yeah.
But
so go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I definitely agree with that. But I also love, like Bear the Geek said, I love the humor that's in this movie throughout.
Yeah.
My favorite is after they shoot out the glass and McClane disappears, and they get back, the detonators or whatever. They're all they go back downstairs, and Carl just knocks over all these things and then flips over the thing and walks out, and she's like, he's alive. And she's like, what? And his wife's like, only John could piss somebody off that much or something, whatever the line is. Yeah. I was just like, little lines like that is what I liked in this movie.
Yeah, she was like, he's pissed. Yeah, that was good.
So, and it was just, there were different characters along the ways, even the minor characters. I forgot the guy's name, but the one who was doing the coke, who was supposed to be all business.
Ellis.
Yeah, Ellis. When he's sitting there with Gruber, he's sitting there with Gruber acting like this is just some type of, Hollywood deal negotiating. He's like, Hans, booby, baby, I got this. And
he uses
and then
that
he got shot. It was
anymore.
And they end up killing him, and it was probably the only time I ever really wanted a hostage to die. I'm just like shoot him.
They're like, pow! Oh, thank God they killed him.
Yeah, like he was an asshole before, but whenever he started going Hans, booby, I just shot him right there.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Booby, baby.
But definitely all around just a great movie. It's something I'd watch with the kids. Bring it to show and tell, show the kids at first grade, whatever. It's definitely a great movie. It starts off kind of slow, and then it starts picking up, and it's like the action doesn't really ever go away. It just sort of goes around in a circle, slows down a little bit, and then picks up the motion again and just keeps going. So it was a really well thought out
ebbs
film.
And flows. Yeah.
It flowed very well. So it was a great movie all around, and the cast I thought was great.
Yeah. One of my favorite lines in the movie, since y'all both basically said your favorite line in the movie, one of my favorite lines is after the top blows and the helicopter goes down, the captain says, "Oh, we're gonna need some new FBI guys, I think."
Yeah, that was good. Yeah,
because he said it so deadpan. It was great.
It's almost like he wanted them to blow up too. How much of a dick those two characters were.
Well, he was such a dick to begin with, and then you saw him sort of change and kind of get on Al's side. So he had a big character developing moment too. Just in a short amount of time, so that was pretty good to see. You got to see John McClane just go throughout this whole thing. By the end of the movie, he is a freaking wreck. He can barely walk.
Yeah,
It's I think the story is told well. I mean, it's just a great movie. I'm going to go ahead and give my rating on this movie. If I had to rate this movie, first of all, I love the way it was shot. I love the action. I love the lull scenes. I thought it flowed very well. You had your ups, you had your downs. You was able to take in the moment of the big action scenes. Um, I'm going to give this a solid 8.5. I believe that it's a really good 80s movie, really good 80s Christmas movie. You know, ho 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 and all that stuff. Now I have a machine gun. That's great. Love it. Love it. So 8.5 for me. Mikey the Freak, what is your rating?
Yeah, this is probably one of the, I would say it's probably one of the first true action movies that I watched when I was younger. And I am probably around the same time frame, about 88, 89. I probably saw it after the fact it already came out, but I thought it was definitely intense, action packed. The explosions were epic, blowing up the roof. Even dropping the C4 down the elevator shaft and blowing basically the first floor out, first couple floors out with C4. I thought that was pretty cool. So with the action pack, the fight scenes, like I said, they were okay, but definitely good for the 80s. Not a lot of martial arts type deal, just really some bare knuckle beating the shit out of each other type fighting.
Basically, street fighting. That's basically all it was. Yeah.
Basically, and one of them was in Street Fighter. Yeah. It's so weird. So funny. Little Johnson was in Street Fighter. That's very funny. But it was, like I said, the machine gun, even just regular pistols, it seemed like they're very, I would say the strong punch of like his revolver, even at the end of the movie was deeper than any of the other revolvers.
That is true.
It was weird, right?
I'm like, is that a Magnum?
But also in true, 80s movie fashion, most of them never ran out of bullets.
That is true.
They never did, right?
I think I saw him change clips twice in the entire movie. That's a lot of bullets for to only change clips twice.
That is true. But that's what makes a good movie.
Yeah, and even the love story behind it, between John McClane and his wife was, it started off where it was kind of rocky, and she wanted him back around, but yet she had to change her name to be at Nakatomi Plaza. Something to do with I didn't really catch it all, but it was something to do with Japanese coming out, flying from New York to LA, working. Who knows? If y'all figure out the backstory, let us know. But all around, I think it was very good. I give it also an 8.5, just for all those features. Absolutely. Bebo, what about yourself, bud?
Definitely ranks a lot higher than Mac and Me.
So is that what we're ranking everything on now? Is Mac and Me?
That's for me. It's like, how much does this compare to Mac and Me? So if Mac and Me we gave a 0, I'm giving this movie 190. No, I would say I'm probably in the same range as you guys, around 8.5, maybe a 9. Nostalgic purposes alone may move me up to a 9 on this.
Yeah, makes sense.
It's a classic movie. It still holds up, is what I love about the movie. You can still watch this today, and you don't feel like, oh, this is such shitty effects, or it's such a shitty movie. It holds up, and it's a great movie. The actors were good. I also love whenever the SWAT team's trying to take the building, and they launch the RPG at the over there, and the dude from, I don't remember the guy's name, but it's the that guy who's in Walker Texas Ranger. Yeah. He's sitting there, he's like, and the quarterback is toast.
Yeah.
When he did that. But it's just, I loved everything about the movie. I can't think of anything I didn't like, except for maybe the ending, because you thought Carl was dead and then he wasn't dead. And it's like they brought him back to life just so Mr. Winslow would pull the trigger. Listen, y'all call him what you want, okay? Man, it's always going to be Mr. Winslow from Family Matters for me, okay?
Yes.
And what I love is throughout everything I've ever seen him
He's
in.
a cop.
He's a fucking cop.
He's a cop.
He's always.
I've seen him in two things, and two things only, where he was not a cop. And one of those things was Big Bang Theory, and he fucking played himself. Or not Big Bang Theory. I'm sorry, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, because the lead on that.
It's still a cop show.
Yeah, it's still a cop show.
Well, what's funny is the head detective, or one of the lead detectives. His favorite thing is fucking Die Hard. It's what made him want to become a cop, and he finally gets to meet Reginald Von John, whatever the hell his name is. He finally gets to meet Mr. Winslow. You know, on
that's easier to say, Mr. Winslow.
Yeah. So I mean, it was just, I just love the movie altogether. It was, you know, I would probably put it at a 9 for me, going past 8.5, just for, I'm giving it that extra half just for the nostalgia of the movie for me.
Yeah, because it has Mr. Winslow in it. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I get it.
And no Urkel, yay.
Even better. Even better. All right, Bibo, do you have any trivia for this movie?
I've got a few things here. So Alan Rickman, who we all love and enjoy, he actually nearly passed up the role of Hans Gruber. It actually Hans Gruber was actually his first film role, but he had only arrived in Hollywood 2 days earlier and was appalled by the idea of his first role being a villain in an action film. To a degree, Rickman was right to be concerned, considering his performance as Hans Gruber was so hailed that the actor had to struggle being typecast as a player of villains for much of his career. You know, and looking at it, there's very few things I can think of that I've seen Rickman in where he wasn't at least somewhat villain-esque in the movie, because even as Snape, you know,
he's a villain, pretty much.
He's pretty much a villain, because you don't think of him until, you know, being a good guy until the very end. You know, when he takes the chair and actually sees everything that's happened, but still.
I don't think he was a villain in Galaxy Quest. That's a good point.
No, I said, you know, one of them.
Yeah.
I didn't say all of them. I said, but most of them.
There's not
many. So much of the script was actually improvised. The reason for that is because of the constant screenplay tweaks that were being made while they were actually filming. So that's why a lot of it was.
Let's make a movie. We'll write it as we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold my beer. I got this.
And let me get back to that other one. Hold on. So on Alan Rickman's first day of shooting, he filmed the scene where Hans Gruber first runs into John McClane. He had made that jump off like a 3-foot high ledge, and he actually injured himself. And when he landed, he damaged some cartilage in his knee.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
He was told by the doctor not to put any weight on that leg, and he had to use crutches for a week. And for the rest of the scene where Hans Gruber is standing and talking to McClane, Alan Rickman is actually only standing on one leg the entire time.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow.
Yeah, and it has a leg brace on his other underneath his pants, but he's only standing on one leg the entire time he's doing that scene, which is why I think when you're watching it, you can kind of see him leaning on stuff a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was just a little interesting. But if you guys want to look, you can go on to IMDb. There's a shit ton of trivia on this movie. Go online. If I went through all of this stuff, we'd be here till next Christmas. So where we would still watch this movie again. Don't get me wrong.
Yes.
Well, you got to mention the one scene with Alan Rickman on the
falling.
Fall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
let them know. Most people know, but go ahead and tell them.
So when Hans Gruber at the very end is supposed to be falling, after McClane shoots him and he grabs a hold of Holly Gennaro's wrist and he's undoing the clap. When he actually starts falling,
the Rolex
the Rolex
watch.
You can actually see a real look of almost fear on Hans Gruber's face.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is that when they went to go shoot that, he was actually being held, I think it was 20 something feet up in the air. And he was holding on to a stunt person's hand. And the stunt guy said, okay, we're going to let go on 3 and you're going to fall. And he was going to fall into like one of those giant airbags. and he went 1-2 and let him go.
Yeah.
So that the look you see on Hans Gruber's face or on Alan Rickman's face is a legit frightful thing, because that
like,
wasn't supposed to happen.
He just dropped me.
Yeah. Needless to say, after this, I don't think Alan Rickman ever did a trust fall with anyone.
No.
But yeah, no, he that's what I love about that scene, though, is that you can actually tell like that is true fear in that man's eyes, because the asshole let go early.
Yeah.
Well,
that was always a good one.
I have some retro memorabilia here from Die Hard. First one I have is a Die Hard John McClane Christmas tree ornament. It is with him in the
Vent?
tin can, in the vent. It's really cool.
That is good.
You could pick that up for $12. The next thing I have is a Die Hard Collection Blu-ray Nakatomi Plaza Limited Edition set with the actual Nakatomi Plaza Tower for $425. And the last thing I have, which is a freaking crazy, is a Die Hard sealed NES game. It is graded at a 9.4 for $17,550.
That's a good grade for being in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's a good grade, but I'm not paying that shit.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but out of all of that, even the price of the ornament was a little high for me.
I could make that. That's probably easy to make.
Yeah,
do you have anything in like
can,
the 50 to 75-cent range?
Get yourself a little sardine can and a picture of John McClane in the thing, and just cut it out.
Just tape it in there, and it'll be perfect. Absolutely.
I forgot what I was watching, but it was for one of the anniversaries of Die Hard. Did you ever see that on the studio lot? They painted him in the they did like a big thing on the side, and it was of him in the vent, and it was for like the Die Hard whatever, but it was like almost the entire side of like a
of a building,
of like a studio, of a soundstage.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, too funny.
And I was just like, that would be awkward. Like you're going there to film a movie. What's up, Bruce?
Mikey the Freak. What do we got for related reels, man?
Yeah, so I went with, of course, I went with the main character. I went with Bruce Willis, which is John McClane, of course, in this movie. But, of course, he's been in hundreds of films, hundreds of films. So I picked 3 good ones that is a must-see from Bruce Willis.
Die Hard 1, 2, and 3.
Die Hard 1, 2, and 3. Absolutely. He is so good at this game. I'm out. I'm good. So 1994 Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction's a great movie. I have 1995 12 Monkeys. 12 Monkeys is another futuristic time travel movie. Very good movie to watch. And 1999's Sixth Sense.
Yes.
Sixth Sense is a very good movie.
Yes.
That's one of those movies to where everyone knows
you can only watch it once.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, basically. But a great movie. But yeah, he's been in tons of films. Check him out. Those 3 are 3 of my favorite watches from Bruce Willis. The other one is I went with Paul Gleason. He played Detective Dwayne T. Robinson. So of course, everyone knows him from Breakfast Club 1985 as Vernon, and then of course 1993's Trading Places. I had to go with Trading Places. Such a great movie. It's a great movie. And then the last one I went with was a great movie. You gotta watch Trading Places. An amazing movie.
Another great Christmas movie.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then another one is I went with William Atherton, which played the journalist Thornburg. Okay. He's been in tons of great movies, but one of my top 3s, 84's Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
1984.
Please say it, dude. Don't you leave out the movie I'm thinking of.
I'll probably say it third. 1985's Real Genius.
That was it.
Okay.
Oh, was it? I was going to say.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about 1996 Biodome.
Oh no.
Oh, I
Both of
forgot.
those work,
I
though.
forgot that was
Both of
him.
those work.
I forgot he was in. That was
Yes,
the dude in
I love
Biodome. Yeah.
Biodome. I thought you were going with Biodome on that one. That's what
No,
I knew.
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
I'm definitely saying Real Genius because he plays a great professor in Real Genius.
But it just goes to
Biodome,
show you he's an asshole in everything he plays.
Everything.
every single move one of those, he's definitely
He's
an
an
asshole.
asshole.
Ghostbusters and Die Hard. He's the same person.
Yeah.
He is the same person, just with a beard in
literally-
Ghostbusters. That's basically
Yeah,
it.
I think in all those movies it's almost exactly the same. Just one of those arrogant characters. He pisses off everybody, no matter who he talks to. Just
True.
a straight up dick, and that's
Very
just a
much so.
perfect character for him.
All right.
So that's really all I've got with the three good characters on those. Good movies to watch.
Awesome.
With that though, in regards to you referencing 12 Monkeys, just because it was brought up, for those of y'all who don't know, we did a special guest segment on the last podcast you ever want?
The last podcast you'd ever want. Yes.
Okay, I can't remember it was to hear or not at the end of it. But we were guest on there, and we did a
movie draft.
we did a movie draft, picking our 5 top picks of time traveling movies. So please go to Spotify, wherever you want to go to listen to that, but give it a listen. We had fun making that.
Very fun.
Definitely. Steven is Steven Strauss. He's a great guy. That's his podcast, the last podcast you'd ever want. Go check it out. Well, I do believe that does it for this episode of Back to the Retro Review. Make sure you do all the YouTubey things. Give us a good old thumb and hit that like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. So for Mikey the Freak and Bebo, I am the Bearded Geek, saying keep it retro, everybody.
See ya.
See ya.